In this video, we'll talk about how to trade rounding tops and rounding bottoms. So a rounding top, as I'm sure you can imagine, is at the top of a move higher, and a rounding bottom is at the bottom of a move lower. It takes a little bit of artistic license to identify these patterns, but as a general rule, it's basically when, in the case of a rounding top, when the market does this, and a rounding bottom like this at the bottom of a downtrend at the top of an uptrend. So think about what this means. This means that the market has taken its time. In the case of a rounding top, we've rallied for a while. We've run into some resistance, but it's more like a lack of momentum. Perhaps the overall attitude of the market starting to change. Maybe some fundamentals have changed. Or there's just a simple lack of enthusiasm for a stock. And that forms, over time, this rounded top would just kind of lose interest. Same thing with a rounding bottom. Been selling off, and then just gradually the selling pressure abates and we reach towards the upside. So when trading these things, you take the height of the pattern, you draw an imaginary line down here, and then on a break of what would be the neckline, for lack of a better term, or the bottom of the pattern or top of the pattern if it's a rounding bottom, you take the measurement of the height of the actual pattern itself and extrapolate the breakout. So for example, if this was $2 tall, once we break through this level, you're aiming for another $2. Your stop loss goes about halfway into the pattern, quite frankly, because if you get a breakdown and then you break back up into it, then it's not really sticking and it's just more kind of back and forth. So a rounding top can be identified as such. You can see that clearly the market has just tried to rally and this just couldn't hang on to it. And there's your pattern. The height is from 27 to 29.50. So that would be $2.50 from the breakdown from 27. So you're looking for 24.50, and that is exactly where you end up. You do get a little bit of a pullback, and you do get another chance to enter based upon this previous support. So sometimes you get that opportunity as well if you miss it. Rounding bottom, you can see that Yum Brands took its time, we pulled back and then just kind of went like this for several months, from about 62 to 66, gives you a target of 70, which we do hit rather quickly. The nice thing about these patterns is they take a long time to set up, so you can keep your eye on them for quite some time. Also, something else that I would point out is the longer the time that it takes to form the pattern, the more impressive it will be, because it takes a lot more order flow to make these moves. In this case here, this would have been about 2.5 months. Over here, and the one in Microsoft, about the same, maybe 3 months.